Okay, I have to get ready for work. Oh, my hair is really bad. I haven't taken a shower yet. Um, but I've been playing Assassin's Creed 3, and I wanted to record this before I went to work. So I was really worried about Assassin's Creed 3, like making rah rah American history revolution stuff. Fuck yeah! And it's sort of doing that, but it's doing a very good job of actually explaining how kind of horrible everybody was. Like, for instance, I just met Sam Adams, and like the character you play as is like, why do we have to keep on lying to everybody to like why are we manipulating peasants? And Sam Adams is like, because peasants are there to be manipulated. And you're like, shit, this is great. So anyway, if I have any followers who aren't American, like, and also anybody who's like confused, American Revolution is bullshit. Okay, like, I love America. Like, I love this country. I think it's great. This country is one of the worst things in existence, and it is one of the best countries in the world, which means that every other country that is worse than us is really bad. Like, our country is bad. Those other countries are super bad. And our country wasn't actually good until Theodore Roosevelt, basically. Like, we were shitty. Like, we weren't even a decent country until Teddy Roosevelt came along. Like, we were terrible. Let's go back to the history of why the American Revolution has happened. This is called The American Revolution in as short a time as possible, starring me, Matt Myers. So, way back in the day, you had the British colonies, the 13 colonies along the coast, or the east coast in America. You also had some French people in Canada and down the side there, and a little bit in Louisiana, and you had some Spanish down in Florida. I know that this doesn't make any sense because you're going to be looking at it and going, well, I guess this part right here is going to be East Coast. Anyway, so Florida's down here, right? In Spanish. The British are sitting here, and all the colonists, which, by the way, 75% of the colonists were exiles, servants that were sent away, thieves, pirates. There were some nobles that went along and some decent women, but most of the colonists were kind of trashy people. It was a lot like Australia, only not as bad as Australia. And they were like, shit, we really want Indian land. Like, fuck those Indians. They're not white. And the British were like, dude, no, there's this thing called the Iroquois Confederacy, and they're like a really powerful nation. And also, they're like helping us, and like they know the lay of the land. Like, maybe we shouldn't attack them because that's a lot of people there. Dude, they've been holding us off for a while. And the colonists were like, fuck that. Look, the French are fighting with them. And the Indians were going, dude, we're helping the French out because you guys are assholes. And the British are going, please, colonists, stop. And then they're like, well, we got to fight the French anyway. So there's this disputed territory. And George Washington was sent in the 1754 to go establish a fort. Walks in, finds some French people, and goes, attack! And the French are like, you're attacking a fort with like 100 men. What are you doing? And George Washington is like, I'm an idiot! And he attacks the fort. And the French go, Jesus Christ! And that was the beginning of the French and Indian War, which became the real First World War because it expanded into Europe and was known as the 7 Years' War, which lasted for 9 years, and also involved every single colony on Earth, largely. Not really, but most of the colonies on Earth, most of the European countries are fighting over really dumb shit. And it was started because George Washington was an idiot that wanted Indian land. So anyway, there's this big battle going on. The Indians are helping the French out because they're like, these fucking colonists are like trying to kill us. And the French are pretty bad too, but at least they're not actively trying to kill us right now. And the British were going, oh, Jesus, like, we just don't like the French. Like, why do we have to get the Indians involved? And the colonists are going, fuck everybody! So the war dragged on, and finally Britain was like, okay, we're going to buckle down and pay for this war. We are the most powerful country in the world. They sent a bunch of troops, they wiped out the French, they made a treaty, and they said, all right, this line that we drew right here, still in existence, colonists, for the love of God, don't go and attack the Indians. Like, please, just don't do it. And the colonists were like, fuck you, Britain. And they were quiet about it. And Britain said, damn, we're really in debt. We need, like, money. The colonists are actually super rich because America's full of really great resources. We should try to tax them. So they put the stamp tax out, which was not a bad thing, and it was very little. And the colonists go, bullshit! So there you get the first two tenets of being an American. The first tenet is fucking over Native Americans. If you want to be a true American, you gotta fucking hate Indians. You gotta fucking like want to murder them. I don't. I mean, okay, so pause. That is a joke. Like, I do not hate the Indians. That's wrong. But there's nothing more American than hating Indians, as proven by the American Revolution. Second thing about American Revolution, there's nothing more American than not wanting to pay taxes ever. So the Americans go, we're gonna pirate everything, and the British go, Jesus Christ, like, we saved you. We fucking saved you from annihilation. Why are you being assholes to us? And the colonists are like, because we're fucking assholes. And so the colonists started attacking the Indians again. The British going, Chah. And then, you know, Boston Massacre happens, which, by the way, started by angry colonists backing a few regulars into a corner, and the British are going, God, they're going to kill us. Somebody shouts fire, the British shoot because they heard fire and are freaking out, and the colonists go, oh my God, massacre! And the British are going, there was 100 colonists trying to kill 8 dudes! Like, we're just there to be the police! Like, this is wrong! We weren't doing anything! We were called to, like, save this guy because he was a wig maker! You were attacking a merchant! Like, you're the bad guys! And the colonists were like, PR battle! And Sam Adams and Paul Revere made it all bad, and, like, by the way, again, let me reiterate, the American Revolution is bullshit. So then the British were like, we don't know what to do here. These colonists suck. Why are we still communicating with them? And finally, the American Revolution happened. And the Americans came along and were like, we're going to kill the Indians. We're going to not pay taxes. And, well, we need the support of the people. Well, we're a bunch of rich guys. I guess we can manipulate them. Oh, so there's a third American tenet. The 1% manipulating the 99%. Because that's what happened. Luckily, good to know is that only 2/5 of all the colonists were actually part of the American Revolution. The rest of them either supported the British or were like, dude, we don't want any part of this. And so the British were like, dude, Americans hate Indians. And they're slavers. And we're not slavers. Idea. So, because, by the way, Britain had outlawed slavery. In fact, the United States was the colonies were the only place where slavery was still legal in the world. So then, this video is dragging along. It's gonna end real soon. But to put a fine point on it, British are like, you, dude, Indians, join us, free the slaves, help us fight the Americans. And they fought, and the British were like, you know what? We're done with this. And they back out, and the Americans go, we won! We beat the greatest power in the world! But what really happened during the American Revolution was kind of like as if New York City decided to take down the mafia using 2 police officers. That was basically what the American Revolution was. If New York City had sent every single cop in, they could have taken down the mafia, but instead they sent a couple police officers. The British could have trounced them, as proven by the fact that the British basically single-handedly freed Europe from Napoleon 30 years later, because Britain was the most powerful country in the world until Germany came along in World War I. At any rate, America is bullshit. America has been bullshit. Like, we fucked up the Indians. We don't want to pay taxes. We keep on manipulating citizens. Like, it's just, the American Revolution is not pretty. It's full of horrible people. By the way, George Washington was a horrible, horrible strategist. When he said, when he was given the role of commander-in-chief, and he said, I do not believe I have the ability equal to the honor of this role, he meant it, because he's terrible. Like, he's really bad, you guys. America sucks. I love America. America sucks. The end.